Previously on Dragon Ball Z. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Bandai Figurized Standard Dragon Ball Z Son Goku and Krillin Deluxe Set. Now these are model kits. I don't do the figure arts figures. I'm way too behind. I'll never catch up. I'd have to buy too many. But I did jump into the model kit line when it began. I'm not a super fan of Dragon Ball, but I'm a casual fan, I guess you could say. Following along with the model kits, perfectly fine with me. Now, we've gotten a couple of versions of Goku before this. Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, Standard Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 4 when he's powered down. And then Krillin, nobody wants to admit it, but I'll admit it, he's one of my favorites. Now, I did get the Deluxe Set, and from the looks of it, it's essentially just the two model kits stuffed into one box with a clear stand. Looking at the package, the front cover art is interesting. It shows the model kits here, it shows the stand and the two models you get inside the same box. But the two pictures that you assume are from the cartoon are actually, well, kind of the model kits pulled into that style. The faces are definitely from the anime, but you can see the joints from the models just kind of sticking in several places. It's an odd mix there that I didn't catch at first. I thought it was just the picture from the toon. Nope, it's kind of a mix. On the end, you get more of that artwork. You get a Goku bio, some unreadable stuff, the model kits, the stand. The effects, I reviewed these a while back. Other figures in the line and the vehicles. And then the warnings, the unreadables, no glue required, top cover box paper. I don't know what all this means. Don't worry about all this. Just have fun. Build a model kit. On the other side, pretty promotional pictures of the Goku, the Krillin, all this. I do have the androids. Never built them. I have Vegeta, never built them. I have Trunks, never built them. Hopefully this kickstarts me back into finding the time to build these. I guess my biggest excuse right now is I haven't had the time. But it's midnight, I ain't got nothing to do tomorrow, so I'm building this. Taking a look inside the package, like I said, oh, is it childproof? Let me in. It's pretty much the two model kits. Here's Krillin, here's Goku, just without the separate boxes. You have Goku's hair, faces, hands. Here's his clothes, the decals for, looks like his boots, and then on the back of his gi. Power effects, more faces? How many faces does Goku have? More parts of his costume. Then for Krillin, have 3 different heads, more skin. And then the exclusive clear stands for each figure. I'm guessing it's for each figure. Is there 2 of them in there? Looks like 2 of them. But this was essentially free. If you ordered both of these in the same box in the deluxe set, it was exact same cost as ordering them separately. So it worked out. Have more of Krillin's suit, I'm assuming. Yeah, the blue shoes or whoever, whichever it goes back and forth. Here's the instructions for the clear stand. Plugs into the back right there. Or, well, no, there's a clip that goes around the body. Clips into it. And then 2 individual instruction sheets, one for each character. So if I had a choice, I could just build one tonight and save the other. Sure, I have 5 hours to burn. What the hell do I have to do? Now, like always, I'm going to build... I don't know if you can hear this over the crinkle, crinkle, crinkle of this. I'm going to build these, but I'm not filming the whole thing. There's no need to show any of that. Nobody wants to watch me screwball back and forth and have to take stuff back apart because I missed a part, whatever. Just, if I run into some complications, I'll film that. I'll show that if I can fix it. Because I'm still pretty novice at this whole situation. But I like the build, so that counts, right? So I'm going to get started and see where this goes. Moving right along, not bad. In fact, it looks pretty damn cool. I like how the Figurized Standard kits, they don't seem as complicated as the Star Wars model kits. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe it's bigger pieces. Maybe it's less intricate stuff going on, something. But these are a little bit more fun, a little bit more easy to build. You just have to remember to get everything lined up. Like right here, the arms were holding out the back piece from going on all the way. So I had to pull them out, get that snapped in there. Also, there's a couple places, not with this face, but with the other faces, where it's easier to put the decal on for the tongue in there before you snap the face well, the eyes and the mouth into the back of the face itself. Because right here, I don't know if you can see, I put the eyes in, and then I realized, oh, the tongue's still white. So I went to push it out, and I guess I got my fingernail caught right there, and I kind of marred around the eye. It's very thin plastic. It didn't take much, and it kind of sucks because this is the face I want to display. But you put it on the shelf, it's not going to be noticeable. It's just, it comes down to paying attention to the instructions. And I have a problem with that, apparently. Okay, no problem putting the figure together at all. I mean, it was, like I said, pretty straightforward. There's some cool stuff going on there, but we'll look at that in the articulation part. But we also get new effects with this. At least I think they're new effects. I skipped a Goku or two. Maybe it came with that, but it's new for me, I believe. Now, this is a bunch of different pieces going around a center cap. There's a peg right there that orientates it for you. So you start at 5, and then you work your way 6, 9, 11, 2, and 1. Now, 11, for me at least, kept falling out. I got everything else together. Everything's nice and tight, except for 11. It would just slide out. And you can see right there it frosted over because I put a little bit of super glue there to hold it in, and that sucker's not coming out. But otherwise, the ball, I believe this is a new design compared to the first one I put together. The first one didn't want to stay together. This one's a little bit clearer, a little bit more structurally sound, I think. Okay, moving over to Crillon, a mystery solved on the extra faces. I believe he's using, or at least reusing, some of the parts from Gohan. I think those are Gohan's faces. It's been a while since I built him, but it does have some X's over some of these parts in the instructions over there. So, maybe. Extra parts is cool. It's better than not having enough parts. Okay, going together pretty quick, pretty easy. My only thing here is each face has to on his forehead come out with the back of the head, and then you put the other face on. It's easy enough, but man, come on. I mean, you have this much plastic that you're not going to use in the same skin tone color. Couldn't toss us a couple of more back of the heads? I'm not complaining too much. I understand the logistics of it. I understand why they did it. It's just, you know, come on. Really. The Crillon doesn't come with as many decals. It has the 2 mouth decals. It has the detonator button thing. I can't remember what it's called offhand. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. But the most important decals, I feel, are the kanjis for, I think that's what they're called, for the front and the back. And these being standard decals, I didn't think they would conform to the folds in the gi, but not bad at all. I mean, I just put it down where I thought it would go, and then I started at one side and just kind of worked my way across, pushing it down into the grooves, and that one came out really great. The back one, it's trying to pull up just a little bit in the bigger grooves as I push it down into the smaller ones, but it looks good too. It's kind of there. It conforms with the cloth. Okay, before actually getting to the review, I noticed something with the Goku, and I had to bring out the old Super Saiyan one. I think this is the first release. I don't have any of the others after that. But looking closely, it's the same figure with a new head, which I should have figured, but whatever, I'll get to that. But you'll notice the abs here. And whenever I started messing with it, I noticed that you could see blue up in there, which I can't see there, and I can't see on the original figure. So after some pulling and some messing, I realized, and I actually took that one apart too, I realized that this is way too high up. Whoops. Which is a result of me, again, kind of slots, but it's meant to go in the lower slots, which makes me think, what the hell are these higher slots for? Now, having this up in the higher slots, it does give you more range of motion forward, but it breaks the hell out of the back. It's a big gappy mess, and like I showed before, it doesn't come all the way down on the abs. So I don't know if that's there on purpose to give you more range of movement, and then you put it down here for less range of movement, but better look. I don't know, but that's something to keep in mind when you're putting it all together. It also stays on the waist better because the peg in the crotch going up can actually reach what it's supposed to instead of just kind of sticking to it. So it's a much more solid figure with it in the other slots like that. And there we go, all built. And as I was building, I thought, this was neat. This is awesome. This looks different. And then when I went and pulled the old ones off the shelf, well, at least the Super Saiyan Goku and kind of Gohan, I realized there is reuse here. It's perfectly fine. It works for the characters, but we'll get into that as we go along here. Looking at the Goku, like I just said, there is reuse, so you know what you're getting. But I feel like this is more iconic, at least than the Super Saiyan version. It's more of a brighter orange, a darker blue, and especially the skin tone. It's really bright, I guess. I would have liked to have seen a slightly darker color like the original releases, but what you gonna do? It still looks fantastic. And get up to the head, like I said, this is what I was hoping for. This is what I've been waiting for. Yes, we went through some Super Saiyan versions to get the standard, just plain Jane Goku. I'm happy. I think this is the last Goku I'll need in the line. They did a nice job of his crazy hair sticking out. I've seen statues and other figures before, and the hair looked kind of flat, either from the side or the top from some angle. But here, most angles, it looks like the cartoon. Flipping over to Krillin, like I said, he does reuse some parts from Gohan. The arms, part of the gi, the upper legs, maybe even the bottom legs, but there is some resculpting going on. The boots are different. They're added to the bottom of the legs. They're resculpted to meld together better, and it does look good. The legs seem a little bit long, but that's how it is with all the Dragon Ball Z model kits so far. At least I feel like that. And then Krillin's face, the skin tone overall, actually, it suffers from being way too bright, way too pale. Pale? Is that the right word? What am I looking for here? Plain? Older kits, it was a little bit more lifelike to the skin tones. Here, it's a little bit more cartoony. But I love the integration of the eyes with the whites and the blacks and the eyebrows being separate parts. Not decals, not stickers, not water slides. It's actual plastic, and that just totally works for me. Now going over Goku, I wish there was a little bit more head movement up at least. It kind of jams. Once you get him down crouched, he doesn't like to look forward, running position, things like that. So I would like to see a little bit more movement there. And I think it's the hair getting in the way, but what you gonna do? And it's not really a negative unless you're new to the model kits, but once you build one, if this makes you go out and get one, you're going to notice that these are light as hell. It feels like there's nothing to them. They feel fragile, they feel hollow, they feel like they have no heft to them, and they don't. I mean, they're just hollow plastic models with the joints and such. But I've been through most of the Dragon Ball Z models. I've been through all of the Star Wars models. Well, I think all of them so far. Have never had a problem with breakage. I've had a fear of it before, like joint being stuck when we get to Crillon here in a second, but I've never actually had one snap off break. Now, speaking of Crillon, I didn't notice it back when I built Gohan, but for Crillon, the shoulders are super tight to rotate inside. I don't know if it's, yeah, see, it pulls away from the back. So you've got to be very, well, this cup thing doesn't like to stay in place either. So you have to be very methodical about it. Kind of like a perfect cell. You move him around, you've got to squeeze some of the parts back together. You get some gaps in the articulation. He also has a problem looking up. The whole line has a problem looking up. It's just how the articulation is laid out. Going over articulation, there's a ball going up into the head with a hinge at the neck, and then the neck itself hinges forward and back. So they can get great down, forward and down, just not back so much. There's swivel there. Little bit of tilt. There's a dumbbell joint going into a butterfly joint in the torso. You can get up and down a little bit back, but it goes forward beautifully with that butterfly joint coming out. Hinge and swivel on the ball joint at the end of the dumbbell, comes up. There's a cup covering it, so you got to kind of manipulate around that too. Swivel at the bicep. Single elbow, but comes up to there. Ball joint in the wrist, you get all around and then swivels. There's a ball in the torso on a kind of an opening hinge, so you can get forward, and then you can swivel on that. There's a drop down joint in the hip going out to a ball in the hip that also rotates. There's some craziness. There's all kinds of stuff going on in there. If you built the kit, you know exactly what's going on in there. But you can get forward with it, you can get back, you can get out all the way, and then you can push that joint back up into the leg. You also get some swivel there. Single knee, but it comes up to here. I love how they do this, where it looks like the pants continues on around inside the leg. There's some rotation at the boot. You can only go this far though. There's stops to keep it from going further. Hinge in the ankle, going back, going forward, and then forward facing pin. For Crillon, it's essentially the same thing. There's a ball joint going up into the head, hinge on the neck, and then the neck itself hinges, well, his kind of hinges backwards, not so much forward. But you can get forward, you can get back, side, side, swivel. Like I said, the swivel inside the torso for the arms, very, very tight, but it does go all the way around with this cup coming out over the shoulder piece. There's also a butterfly joint there. You can come all the way out of the torso. You can get up that much, swivel at the bicep. Single elbow, but it comes up all the way. Ball joint in the wrist, Lots of movement there. Same type of torso joint. Kind of goes here. Goes back a little bit further than Goku does, though. The tie on the front of the belt here is on a hinge. You can get it up out of the way. So you can drop the leg down, get it up, get it back, get it out to about right there. If I try to go further, it pops off the hip joint. So, yeah, that's about it for the smaller character. You can also get swivel there. Single knee comes up to about right there. No swivel at the boot, but the foot does swivel below the top of the boot. Hinges back, hinges forward, and then forward-facing pin. For accessories, Goku comes with 2 fists. He comes with 2 splayed-out, energy-emitting hands. And then for extra right hands, he comes with kind of a waving hand or a chop hand. And then he has his... Yes, I know what it is this time. If you go back and watch the Super Saiyan review, I don't know. I've watched more Dragon Ball Z since then. I'm not an expert, but instant transmission. It comes with this Goku because it comes with the Super Saiyan kit, and it's essentially the same kit. And to change those out, it's just a ball joint going up in there, and then you take the other one. Well, you want to put the right hand on the right arm. So, there you go. He also comes with 3 faces. He has his goofy original look. This is how I think of Goku when I think of him. Just kind of, hey guys! Then he has a more angry face. He's about to kick some ass. I think this is my second favorite face because I'm not a huge fan of open mouth faces. Even though this fits the character, I know you're watching it and they're screaming most of the time. So this does fit. It's just not my most favorite, you know. And to switch those out, you pull off the front of the hair, exposing the face, and then you put the other face just on the peg there. Line it up. One thing about this, you want to watch where you push. His nose is sharp, his hair is sharp. There's just sharp stuff trying to get you the whole time you're changing this out. But looks great. And then he comes with 2 effects. He comes with the ball of energy. And like I talked about during the build, this is a new version of this. As you can see from the first one, it's smaller. It's making out much better. And then he comes with a blast effect that's shooting out. This is new too. This was made up of several different pieces. The original one was just 2 that snaps together. It's more streamlined, more narrow. This one's more of a huge energy blast. And then for Krillin, his accessories, he comes with 2 fists. He comes with the 2 energy-emitting hands where he's, you know, it's tensed. He's got a set of splayed-out hands. That's for his Destructo disc. But there's articulation in the wrist where it can go up and down. And then to hold his Android Destruct button, he comes with a left and right grip hand for that with a slot in it. And these are also articulated at the wrist. Again, you pull that out, you put in this hand, and as you can see, there's extra articulation to these hands. Yes, it looks gappy, and it feels loose and such, but for the range of movement that you get out of this, it's a trade-off, really. Krillin also comes with 3 faces. He has the neutral face. It may have a slight smirk to it. It's hard to see the mouth because of the skin tone. It really needs a wash. And then he comes with a screaming, open mouth, fighting head. And then finally, he has a very specific face. Well, I don't know how specific it is, because he does get startled or, you know, surprised a lot. So this is fitting for the character, and it's kind of a screaming, yelping, looking to the side kind of head. And to switch that out, I found it easiest just to leave the head on the body. You can pull it out. He's got the bumpies that go into the forehead. It stays inside the head. And then you just put the other face over it. Not a big deal at all. And then he comes with his 2 effects. He comes with his disc. It attaches to the wrist. It looks great, but it is a little bit heavy for the figure. It does throw the balance off. It's hard to get him standing up. But when you do get him standing, he looks great. And then he has his big blast. And these are yellow, but against my blue, it makes it look green because they're clear. The blue is coming through the yellow. Blue and yellow make green. We learned that from Ziplocs. For comparison, here is Goku next to Cell and the first Super Saiyan Goku. As you can see, it's pretty much the same body between the 2 Gokus. But as you can see, the original Super Saiyan has more of a tan look to the skin tone. It's not quite as cartoon bright. And then here's Krillin with Gohan and Frieza. Again, good size. There was some height added in the boots to get Krillin up above Gohan, even though they share a lot of the cartoon. I don't know why I said it like that. That was very regal. That was very out of my element, I guess you could say. So at the end of the day, I'm happy to add these to my Dragon Ball shelf. And my Dragon Ball shelf isn't that big. It's not as big as the guys that collect the SH figure arts. A lot more characters released so far over there, but the Figure-Rise line has shown a bunch of characters that they haven't even gotten to yet. I started with this line. I'm going to continue with this line because I feel like these don't really really fit in with the figure arts. You need to take the time to build these, probably need to take the time to paint these up, get a little bit more detail to them, but I feel like these are worth it, especially finally getting this Goku. I have the Super Saiyan Vegeta, and I half feel like I want to paint the hair black and the eyebrows to make that original version, but I also wouldn't put it past Bandai to release a standard Vegeta somewhere down the line. So I'll probably keep him as Super Saiyan. Also, on this Goku, I couldn't figure out which symbol to put on him. Or, well, I couldn't decide. I don't know if I want to nose. But no regrets, especially for the price. For the both of these, I essentially paid the same price as one figure arts figure. Plus, you get the fun of the build. You go through the articulation, you build it, you learn how it works, you know every square inch of both of these figures by the time you're done. That's interesting to me. That really strikes a chord. And building these two, I really need to get to the androids and Trunks and Vegeta. And should I get Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta? Or Super Saiyan 3? The ones I skipped, essentially. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. I don't know. But I'm a sucker, so who knows? So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.